I want you to picture two people, both 67 years old, both retired. Both live on the same quiet street in houses two doors apart. The first one gets out of a chair by pushing off both armrests, pausing halfway up, catching their breath before taking that first step toward the kitchen. The second one just stands up. No pause, no push, no thought about it at all. They're already halfway across the room before the first person has finished sitting forward. Same age, same neighborhood, same number of birthdays behind them, and yet two completely different bodies. Here's what nobody tells you. The gap between those two people usually isn't genetics, and it isn't luck. It's a handful of everyday abilities, things your body either still does easily or has quietly stopped doing without you ever noticing the moment it happened. Nobody wakes up one day unable to balance on one leg. It fades a little at a time until one day it's just gone, and you've adjusted your whole life around it without realizing that's what you did. I'm Zack Toss, and this channel is about helping you understand what's actually happening inside your body as you age so you can do something about it instead of quietly accepting it. I want to be upfront with you. I'm not a doctor, and nothing in this video replaces an actual conversation with your own physician, especially if something here concerns you. What I am is someone who spends a lot of time researching how ordinary people, not athletes, not celebrities, stay strong, mobile, and mentally sharp well into their 70s and 80s. I look at what the people who are still gardening, still traveling, still chasing grandkids around a backyard at 78 tend to have in common, and it usually isn't luck. And today, I want to walk you through 6 simple, everyday things that seem to separate those people from everyone else. If you can still do all 6 comfortably, your body is functioning younger than your birth certificate says. If a few of them feel shaky, that's not bad news, and it's definitely not too late. It's just useful information, and every single one of these 6 things is trainable starting today, no matter your age. Let's start. Marker 1. Standing up without your hands. Sit down in a normal chair right now, or picture yourself doing it. Can you stand straight up using only your legs? No pushing off the armrests, no rocking forward to build momentum, no grabbing the table beside you. This single, ordinary movement pulls together leg strength, hip mobility, balance, and core stability, all working at the exact same moment, which is exactly why this kind of simple sit-to-stand movement gets used as a quick stand-in for overall functional fitness. It's not testing how much you can lift. It's testing whether your body still works as one connected system, the way it did without a second thought when you were younger. If it's hard right now, don't panic and don't force it. Practice standing up slowly from a slightly higher seat a few times a day, and let your legs relearn a job they've simply had less practice doing lately, the same way any muscle memory returns with repetition. Marker 2. Balancing on one leg. Stand near a counter or a sturdy chair for safety and try lifting one foot off the ground. Can you hold it for 10 seconds? 20? 30 without grabbing for support? Balance is one of the first things that quietly erodes with age, often years before strength does, and most people never test it until they've already had a scare. The good news is that balance is also one of the most trainable things on this entire list because your nervous system adapts quickly the moment you give it a reason to. This isn't about becoming an acrobat. It's about not needing to grab the counter every single time you step into the shower or pull on your pants standing up. Marker 3. Walking without your joints stopping you. Can you walk for 20 or 30 minutes at a normal, unhurried pace and finish feeling capable rather than wrecked? I'm not talking about sprinting or hiking a mountain, just steady, comfortable walking, the kind most of us did without thinking twice about it for most of our lives. This marker matters more than almost anything else on this list because it's the actual foundation of independence. It's the difference between exploring a new city on vacation and needing to sit down every 10 minutes. It's keeping up with your grandkids at the park instead of watching from a bench. It's running your own errands on your own schedule instead of planning your entire day around how your knees are feeling that morning. If this one's tough right now, You don't need to fix it in a single afternoon. Start with 10 minutes. Add a little more each week. Let your joints and your cardiovascular system catch up together at their own pace, and resist the urge to rush it just because you feel behind. Before we go further, drop where you're watching from in the comments below. I read every single one, and I like knowing who's actually on this journey with me. Marker 4. Carrying a real load. Can you carry 2 full grocery bags up a flight of stairs without your grip giving out halfway or your lower back seizing up by the time you reach the top? Grip strength in particular gets studied a lot in aging research because it turns out the strength in your hands is a surprisingly reliable window into your overall muscle health and functional capacity. Weak grip tends to show up alongside weaker shoulders, a less stable core, and a body that's generally deconditioned even in people who otherwise seem fine. If your grip has faded, the fix is refreshingly low tech. A cheap hand gripper, or even just a rolled up towel squeezed for a couple of minutes a day, tends to bounce back faster than most people expect, often within just a few weeks of consistent practice. Marker 5. Touching your toes, or getting close to it. Sit or stand and reach slowly towards your feet. You don't need to flatten your palms on the floor like a gymnast, but can you reach without your lower back screaming at you halfway down? Flexibility through your hips and hamstrings does more than let you touch your toes for its own sake. It protects your lower back, and it keeps everyday movements, bending to tie a shoe, picking a dropped set of keys off the floor, loading the bottom shelf of the dishwasher, from turning into a small production every time. A few minutes of gentle stretching most days is usually enough to keep this one intact for decades. Marker 6, and this is the one people never expect to see on a list like this. Do you wake up most mornings wanting something? Not every single morning, nobody manages that, but most mornings is there a project, a person, a plan pulling you out of bed rather than obligation simply pushing you out of it because the day demands it. This might sound like it belongs on a completely different kind of list, but purpose and physical health are far more connected than most people realize. When that sense of wanting fades, people tend to move less, sleep worse, and engage less with the world around them, and the body has a well-documented tendency to follow the mind's lead. If you've lost that spark somewhere along the way, it doesn't have to be big or dramatic to start rebuilding it. One small thing you're genuinely looking forward to this week is enough to begin turning it back on, and it compounds the same way physical practice does, a little more each week than the week before. So let's bring it all together. Standing up without your hands, balancing on one leg, walking without your joints stopping you, carrying a real load up a flight of stairs, reaching towards your toes without pain, and waking up most mornings wanting something. If all 6 of those came easily to you, that's a genuine sign your body is outpacing your age, and the goal now is simply to protect that for as long as possible. If a couple of these felt shaky when you actually tried them, that's not bad news, and it's definitely not too late. It's a map. It tells you exactly where to put your attention first. Every single one of these markers responds to consistent, unglamorous practice, and none of them require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or a dramatic overhaul of your entire life. The story most of us have been told about aging is that decline is just something that happens to you quietly and inevitably, whether you like it or not. But what I keep finding, digging into this again and again, is that decline is usually something that happens when people simply stop doing the small things, not because they've become weak overnight, but because nobody ever told them these specific, ordinary movements were worth protecting on purpose. You don't need to fix all 6 of these this week, or even this month. Just pick the one that felt hardest when you actually tried it and give it a few honest minutes a day. Your body adapts faster than most people expect, at any age, and the person who starts today is already ahead of the person who's still waiting for the perfect moment to begin. If this was useful, subscribe for more of these, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.